Welcome back to another tutorial here at UCLA for AP US History and AP World History. Today what I want to walk you through is a site for the College Board called My AP. So the way you're going to get to My AP is by going up at the top here to apcentral.collegeboard.org, and you've got to have an AP account. But once you created that College Board AP account, you can go ahead and you can sign in. And you're going to notice here, I've already created for myself a username and password. You do have a place where you can put down Remember Me. So we're going to go ahead and submit. And that takes me over to My AP. Now you're going to notice over here on AP Central for My AP that I am given both of my classes that I teach. So that's both AP US History and AP World History. Another place that I can go ahead and I can find those classes by going up here to AP Classroom, and I can click onto one of these choices. So what I want you to look at right now, though, down here is AP US History and AP World History. There are a few different options available for you. There's personal progress checks, the question bank, and then your different sections. So what are these? Personal progress checks are formative questions that you're going to be able to use with your students. And the question bank is a bank of all the questions that have ever been asked on the AP test for AP US History or AP World History that you can use in order to make your test. Those are the summative questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these sections today to walk you through each one of the sections. Basically the same thing for AP US History and AP World History. We're going to use AP US History here just because it's on the left-hand side. I'm going to go over to AP Classroom, and I'm going to show you some of the options that you have available in order to use this with you and your students. Okay, now that we're over at AP Classroom for AP US History, I want you to notice some of the things that are up at the top of the page. Up at the top of the page, we are on the Home section, but there's also a section for the progress checks and for the question bank and your progress dashboard. So if we come on down, here's my period 6 from this last year, and you're going to notice that I can take a look and see at the different things that I've assigned to them. And I can also go down and see all the different units that I'm going to be teaching. Now I'm just going to use an example today, so I'm going to use Unit 4. Now let's just say for a moment that I'm on Unit 4 and I'm teaching the skills and the themes of Section 2 of Unit 4, the rise of political parties in the era of Jefferson. So on the home page, if I go over and click on that, it's going to take me directly over to the CED, and I'm going to be able to see all the things I'm supposed to teach for topic 4.2, the rise of political parties in the era of Jefferson. Now, let's just say at the end of that, I want to go ahead and I want to start assigning formative and summative questions for my students. I can go right on over to topic questions over here, and it's going to take me directly to the different options that I have both for the progress checks and for the question bank. We're going to start off up here with the formative section. I want to talk about a little bit about progress checks. So here's the important part about progress checks. Progress checks are meant to be formative test questions for your students. So it's really important that when you assign these to your students, you are not assigning them as summative test questions, or we're not assigning these for points for the grade, but rather points for completion. This is meant to give them some practice so that they can see how well they are doing in a particular section. Now, when you go down on the progress checks, you're going to notice that you have a number of different choices that you can do. So I'm going to go on all the way down to Unit 4, which is the one that we're taking a look at right now. And you're going to notice over here on the left-hand side that you have a few different choices. You can assign them multiple choice questions, or you can assign them free response questions. This also includes the short answer questions as well. You'll notice that you're going to be told what skills these questions align to, and you can take a look and see what the questions are. So for example, if I want to take a look at preview, take a look at what these questions are, I'm just going to click on that, and up pops all the questions that can be asked in this section for the formative section. And I can go ahead and come on up here and check out each one of those questions. As I move to each one of these, it's going to change the questions for me, and I can see what the students are going to be tested on in that formative section. Now, the next step we want to do is go ahead and assign these to the students. So you go on up to the right-hand side and you click on Assign. And when that comes up, you're going to be given a few different options that you need to do in order to assign this to them. First of all, we need to go ahead and unlock the assessment. You could unlock it right now if you want, or the other thing you can do, make sure the students can see the results. You could scramble up the order for different students, and we could set an exact date and time for the test. So for example, right now on this particular date, it's June 16th when I'm making this particular video tutorial. So what I can do is I can say, I want this open tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I can come on over here down at the bottom and over to the right, and I can set the date and time when this is going to open up. And I want them to start to make sure that they are done with this by the 18th at 8 a.m. So they're going to get the night time to do that. So I just do the same exact process. I'm going to go ahead and set the date, and then I'm going to go ahead and set the time over here. Once I'm done with that, if I'd like, and my students have downloaded this onto their computer, I can set up with something called Lockdown Browser. Okay, so what is Lockdown Browser? Lockdown Browser is basically when you have the students put it on, it's software that locks them into this site. So they have to take the test here. They're not going to be able to go on their computer to other web pages in order to look up answers. Now it's the end of the term here, so it's not showing, but the next thing I can do is I can click on this gray box down here, which will update this and allow it to be assigned to my students. Okay, so the next place I want to go to, though, is the question bank. The question bank is the summative part of what is done in my AP. This is where you're going to actually create questions that you want to use for your final exams or for your unit exams in order to have those mastery of skills for your students. Here's how you do something like that. You go up to the top part here where it says question bank, and right below that, what they've provided for you is that they've provided a number of different areas that you can look at in order to set up your test. So for example, remember we're on Unit 4, so I want to go to Unit and Topic. I'm going to go down to Unit 4, and I want to test them on this issue, the rise of political parties in the era of Jefferson. So I go ahead and click on that. Now the next place I want to go to is the question type. In this particular case, I really want my students to take both multiple choice and short answer questions. So I can come over here and I can click on both of those under question type. And when I do that, I can then come down to the bottom and see the different types of questions that come up that have been compiled here from all the previous AP exams that have ever been given. So I like this particular question for multiple choice. I'm going to go ahead and take that question. And now I have a choice. I can either copy and paste this down and use it in one of my own test banks, or if I would like to, I can add it into my AP, and that will then become a part of the test or quiz that I'm going to be making here on my AP. How do I do that? I go on over here to the right-hand side, and here is my quiz. I'm going to go ahead and title it Jeffersonian Era. And I can preview that if I would like and see what that looks like. Or I can go down and I can go ahead and save that quiz so that I can assign it then to my students at that point. And I can do the exact same process that I did before. I'm going to assign this to both period 6 and period 7. And I want the students to see their results. I'm going to scramble up the order. You could have them take it as a print test, so you can assign it as a print test if you'd like. I can set up the date and the time. And I can use Lockdown Browser. And once I'm done, I can go ahead and click on the button right here to assign. So once I'm done assigning those personal progress checks to students, I want to see how they are doing on that. And so what I can do is come on up here to results. And here's what I think is the real power of this system. You're going to be able to check with all these different types of personal progress checks, how your students are doing on a regular basis to see whether or not you need to give them a little bit more help in class. So we're going to go down to that particular one that I assigned, Unit 4, and when I click on that off of results, I'm now given a few different choices on how I want to look this up to see how students are doing. Let's just say for a moment that I want to look up a particular topic and skill, so I'm going to go to that 4.2, the rise of political parties. I can come over here and I can actually check on how each student did on that particular topic and skill. Let's say that I really want to check up on the questions and how they did. I can actually go through and check out each one of the different questions and see how many of them got it right, how many of them got it wrong. But here's what I think is really powerful. You can go on over to students and you're going to get an entire chart of how your students did. So for example, this particular student of mine did incredibly well on this particular section. They got 29 of the questions correct. However, I am noticing that this student up here didn't do quite so well. He only got 12 right. So what I can do is I can actually go over and check out and see which ones he got wrong. The other thing I can do too is I can see how many students got questions wrong. That gives me an overall idea about which questions students are having the most problems with so that we can review that in class. One of the places that I would like to check out really quick is going to be My Classes, because if you go on over here to My Classes, so it's on the top right-hand side of your toolbar, when you click on that, it's going to give you a lot of important information you're going to need, especially at the beginning of the year. It's going to tell you your different sections. It will also give you the code that you need to send to your students in order to have them join. So it's also going to tell you how many of your students have enrolled and how many have enrolled in order to take the exam. Now, the other thing that's really important off of this is that you can actually go and you can check out here the emails that students have used in order to sign up, their AP ID, and whether or not they have ordered for the exam as well. So that's a brief overview of the My AP site. I'm going to also post some links here that College Board has provided for you to walk through that also provide some other tutorials that might go a little bit more into depth. My hope was that this tutorial would just give you a little bit of a sense of context and framework on how My AP works. I think the great thing about My AP is that it's going to provide for you an overall framework of where to go to for your students in order to provide formative and summative types of questions, and it really brings everything together for you so you don't have to go to multiple different pages in order to find it. So hopefully this was helpful for you, and I will see you in class.